It's a grand night for singing. Welcome. On behalf of the members of the Tri-Lakes Community Singers, we are really grateful that you're here today. We look forward to singing together, singing with you, to you. Hope we'll entertain and encourage you a little bit. Would you please help me begin by welcoming to our stage our pianist, Don Polson, and our beloved director, Debbie Kanyo. Did I mention it's a grand night for singing?
High.
want to say thank you to Lois Estes for helping us out on the piano on that number. I'm just guessing, by the way, would you all help me saying thank you to Lois Estes, if you would, please? I'm guessing that most of us don't recognize names like Irving Caesar, Mort Dixon, Cecil Mack, or Vincent Youmans. But during that montage of 7 old songs, you heard or reminded of songs that they wrote. Those are some of the composers and lyricists for that number. That's called Twentiana, and because all the songs came from the 1920s. And that's our theme for the day. Now, some of the astute musicians in you are saying, wait a minute, Mr. Mike, that first one, Grand Night for Singing, is not from the 20s. And you're right. That was written by Rodgers and Hammerstein for the 1945 musical State Fair. But from here on out, we're going to be singing at least parts, with a couple medleys, including that one, at least parts of 19 songs that come from the 1920s. Now, that's a little older than most of the folks in the chorus. But more on that in just a moment. First, I'd like for you all to help me say thank you to the Tri-Lakes Community Singers Board of Directors. These folks volunteer behind the scenes, handle a lot of chores that put things together so that we can present programs like this, and we're so glad that you've come today. I'm going to call their names, ask them to stand, and then you can join me in thanking them when they're all standing. First of all, our Vice President, Andrea Liljegren. Carol Gardner is our Secretary. Our Treasurer, Kathy Flemons. Roy Liljegren takes care of hospitality. We'll hear more from him in a moment. And our librarian's not with us today, but she takes care of all the music, and we appreciate Barb Coca for that. And finally, if you're here today because you saw an ad or heard a radio spot or some other kind of advertising, then we have Jim Potter to thank. Jim's in the back booth. He's running our sound and our lights and our video and so on. And these are the members of the Tri-Lakes Singers Board of Directors. Would you please greet them for me? Now, before we begin to return to our singing, I'd like to ask Andrea, our Vice President, to enlighten you a little bit about the music and the background of some of this music that we're singing this evening from that era of the 20s. Andrea?
Get this up here. I'm going to start out by sharing some onions with you, and you'll find out a little bit later what I'm talking about. The first part of the 20th century, America was struggling through hardships and changes in the economy that were both good and bad. Here's an onion for you. As an example, in 1900, there were 5,000 millionaires. In 1927, there were 15,000. On the other hand, there were over 6 million households that earned less than $1,000 a year. The early 1900s brought many events that brought lasting changes to our country. The Great War, you know, the one that was supposed to end all wars. The 1929 stock market crash. The invention of the Model T. Now here's another onion for you. It was said that Henry Ford would only allow his cars to be painted black. We had the Second Industrial Revolution, and we can't forget this one. The 19th Amendment gave women the right to vote. Now that is a very large onion for you. On the screen behind me, you can see there were some big changes in our country that we were experiencing. I think probably electricity was one of the biggest, because now we had electric washing machines, sewing machines, vacuum cleaners, refrigerators, so you didn't have to go out and do your shopping every single day. All of this was designed to make women's work easier. We were a country that was in love with progress. Motion pictures were called talkies. In 1928, Walt Disney introduced Mickey Mouse. in a motion picture called Steamboat Willie. We left behind traditional and conservative and social moral values. This included popular music. Gone were the sedate melodies and the formal waltzes. We were now headed into the jazz age. Jazz has its origins in African and Caribbean rhythms, the blues, syncopation, and creativity. You gathered a few more onions. Music became technical and complicated. The public wanted a variety of places they could go hear this new music. There were jazz clubs, speakeasies, Broadway, and you can't forget the new invention, the radio and the phonograph. Jazz even changed the way we dressed. Think of the flapper dresses. They were loose and they moved to the music. There were wide-legged pants that also moved whenever you danced. You might have heard of Tin Pan Alley. That was a 2-block area in New York City where the sheet music companies resided. A New York reporter once said, "There's all of those out-of-tune pianos playing the different songs at the same time, and it sounds like they're banging on tin pans." A young 15-year-old boy got his start there playing music for the publishers. His name was George Gershwin. The 1920s was a springboard for many famous musicians: Count Basie, Louis Armstrong, George Gershwin, Bessie Smith, Benny Goodman, and some you've never heard of: Blind Willie Johnson, Mamie Smith and the Jazz Hounds, and my favorite, Barbecue Joe and the Jug Stompers. Now that you know, you've got some onions, which was 1920s slang for having knowledge. Enjoy the rest of the show. It's the cat's pajamas.
Well, I hope you're enjoying our little trip down memory lane here this afternoon. Many of these 100-year-old songs have been recorded and performed over and over. In a few minutes, one of our tenors, Roy Liljegren, is going to present a little musical history glimpse into the era that this music is drawn from. While he's getting prepared for his part, I'm going to hopefully prepare you for the passing of the hat. The Tri-Lakes Community Singers operate each 11-week season twice a year on a budget of just under $3,000. That pays primarily for our music. That's our biggest expense. The stipends that we pay for our director and accompanist and other musicians, the advertising, and we also chip in a little bit for the use of this hall. By the way, let me just say thank you to the Methodist folks for allowing us to use this facility. It really is a great blessing to us, and it really fits the needs that we have, so we're thankful for that. For all this, we have two sources of income. Each of the singers pays a modest fee each season to participate, and that helps defray these costs, and the rest of our income comes from you. It comes from the kindness of those who attend the concerts and are grateful to help us and are willing to participate. So I appreciate you thinking about that. In a few minutes, Roy's going to sing a little bit, play a little bit for. I guess you're not going to sing, you're going to play. I saw. If that's not in my notes, that's my mistake. Anyway, gave him a heart attack. But anyway, while he is entertaining and informing, then I hope that you'll be able to, the ushers are going to pass the baskets, and if you're in a position where you enjoy what you're hearing, you want to hear some more, and are willing and able to help, then we'd appreciate your participation. We're really grateful for your generosity. Roy, play away.
Now my pacemaker is back to normal. Most of us up here, we're music hobbyists, and we'd love to have you join us. I'm actually a geography and history teacher, so all the stuff that I'm going to tell you today has nothing to do with what I taught. I have a piece of sheet music from, I think it's early 1900s. Anyway, it's music that was made by the Tin Pan. I want to say Tin Can Alley. That's why I'm having trouble with it. Tin Pan Alley in New York stores, anyway. The same area where George Washington, I did it again. George Gershwin at 15 would demo and play music for folks who are going to go home and use it on what was called a parlor piano. A lot of people had that, and it was a simple arrangement that musicians didn't really have to be professional about it, and it shows it kind of. I'll play a little piece of it. And actually, the first part of it has it's Old Man River, which we will be singing later. But its first part here is one line of just the Old Man River, and then it's the words to it. So I'll do that first. But I think I better put it back to the tin. Yeah, there we go. I'll get a little Tin Pan Alley. So if you were any kind of a pianist, you could eventually, within the first week or two, play that and then sing along with it. But there were up to 4 or 5 notes being played at once for a full chord in the music. this is a version designed for an advanced beginner who wanted to play and sing with it. George Gershwin wanted to play a little more complicated variety music, like an artist who's starting with colorless lines and starts creating masterpieces of color and creativity. Gershwin combined what he learned from classic. He actually made it to Europe and wanted to get trained by some very good pianists and composers, but they told him, no, we like your jazz background and the songs that you're playing right now. We don't want to mess you up. Go back to home and do what you're doing. We'll listen to you. So he learned from all these different venues of music and times of music, and to make orchestration. One of his most famous songs was Rhapsody in Blue. I played this when I was 15, so I'm going to just play a piece of it. Yeah, I figured I'd miss it. But anyway, that was kind of neat because I was playing it when 15 and he was in Tin Pan Alley when he was 15. We weren't the same age, by the way. He continued creating music until his untimely death in 1937, which, since he was born just a couple years before 1900, didn't make him very old. He moved from his home in New York and Broadway to Hollywood to join a new growing movie industry. The music of the 20s just started in the 20s. It was perfected in the 30s. So as we play some of and sing some of these songs, some of them reach into the 30s. Another little quip here that George Gershwin supposedly helped come up with the last phrase of Wizard of Oz's Over the Rainbow. It was, if you remember, why, oh, why can't I? And sadly, since this movie came out in 1939, he was probably very close to death because he died in 1937 at that point. The Wizard of Oz book, however, is one of those things that came from 1900, a book, and became a Broadway play right away in 1902. We remember it for the 1939 movie, but it was worked with, adapted, and kept going. Even now, we've made it into Wicked. So the song seems to be resonating, and the words seem to be resonating through this time period, clear up to now. The history of the disaster, the uncertainty, the change, the optimism of this era is all in the music. It feels that way. As I play, and I'm going to be playing Over the Rainbow, think of this history that it represents, the time between 1900 to, well, even now in some ways. The hope it gives us to keep going, and through the words, why or why can't I? And I'm going to switch out of the honky-tonk, I think. I'll put a little strings in there like a movie. Yeah.
Thank you, Roy. And I want to thank all of you for your generosity to our plea for help right then. In the second half of our program, we're going to begin by taking a little stroll on the sunny side of the street. We'll be assisted by Don Haberman, one of our basses in that, and you'll see in just a moment. Then, we're going to present the 1926 Gershwin classic, Someone to Watch Over Me. This lovely song was originally performed by an English actress named Gertrude Lawrence during a musical play called OK. She was holding a little rag doll in a solo scene, and I understand that Gershwin had picked up the rag doll at a little shop down the street and had added kind of a really tender touch to the scene. But since then, it's been recorded and performed by just about every sentimental crooner that we've ever had. And then third, we're going to take a ride on old Captain Andy's floating show, the Cotton Blossom, the Showboat. This Oscar Hammerstein lyric musical, 1927 musical Showboat, and it really transformed the musical play or the Broadway musical genre. Before that, it had been kind of whimsical operettas or kind of medleys of tunes and that sort of thing, but with Showboat, the storyline dictated the music, and the music was written to match the storyline, and that really changed what Broadway musicals were about from that time forward. And so we're going to enjoy a nice medley from Showboat in our third piece in the second half. Enjoy.
Cotton blossom,
Well, after that medley and that hard work, I think it'd be a good time again to recognize our piano player. He's our first season with us from over at Shell Knob, Don Polson. We've really grown to love him because of his good cheer, his hard work, and he's just a great guy to have with us, and we appreciate him so much. Now, COVID has kind of made the math a little bit more difficult, but I believe our little community chorus is now in its 28th year of presenting 2 concerts each year for friends in the community, singing a wide variety of music. I want you to know that we rehearse more often than I rehearse this speech. We rehearse 10 Tuesday evenings a week in preparation for each 2-concert weekend. And there's a modest fee, I mentioned that earlier, for participating in the chorus. And what I'm trying to do is encourage some of you to think about joining us. If you like to sing, if you enjoy music, think about coming and joining and swelling our numbers and enjoying the fun. Incidentally, I just received yesterday in the mail my Cleveland Clinic Men's Health Advisory newsletter. I should have left out the men's part, I guess, probably. But what it told me was that participating in a group like this, where you're socially involved and you're mentally involved in reading music, it helps reduce the risk of cardiovascular trouble and reduce the risk of dementia. Good news for us. So there's a medicinal component in joining the chorus as well. So if you like to sing, and this sounds attractive, you think you'd like to be up here rather than be out there next time, then jot your name, your email address, or phone number on a slip of paper, hand it to me or to Carol Gardner, our secretary, and we'll make sure that you get the report that we're beginning about the 5th of September in the fall, and our concert will be the weekend, we believe, of planning it tentatively the weekend of Veterans Day. So that'll be our schedule for the fall. And if you'd like to be part of us, then we'd love to have you join us. You don't have to read music. I can't read music. I just know when it goes up, you go up, and when it goes down, you go down. And I listen to the piano. Now, some of these guys are really good musicians. I am here because I make such good speeches. That's why I'm here. Oh, that's terrible. All right. At this point, we would like to say thank you again and invite you to join us in saying thank you to Debbie Kanyo. In addition to all that's going on in her busy life, during this concert season, Debbie is navigating the passing of her beloved mother. And in the midst of all that, she has brought such goodwill, hard work, and energy to our project, and we're really grateful. So, Debbie, we have a card for you. And we want to say thank you. And we love you. We hope there's enough in there so you can make a visit to Fashion House when you get done. But would you please join me again in saying thank you to Debbie Kanyo. Now, I want to get you ready for our last 2 pieces. We're going to go outside the 1920s for these last 2. First of all, we're going to go backward to 1902. And we're going to come home with a Greg Gilpin arrangement of Bill Bailey. So you'll enjoy that. But then our final number is called You Shall Go Out in Joy. I'm going to tell you a little story. We noticed in the notes of our music that this song was written and dedicated to a man named Tommy Lyons in 2014 upon his retirement from 53 years as a minister of music. Well, I was curious about that. That's all our notes said, so I did a little search and discovered an obituary in a funeral home in San Antonio, Texas. That connected me with the Baptist Church in San Antonio, Texas. They connected me with his widow, and she and I exchanged notes this week, told her we were going to be singing that song dedicated to her husband as a kind of a joyful closing of our concert. And she was just delighted and heard that, and asked if she could get a recording of it. And I said we would do that. So I want you guys to know that we're going to record this song for her, and so clap really loud so she will enjoy it as the kind of the closeout of our ceremony. But that's really, it's a song that we've grown to love. We've sung it several times now for our spring finale or our recessional. But that's going to be "You Shall Go Out and Enjoy It." I want to thank you again for coming, sharing this day with us. We really appreciate you filling the room and with your applause and thanksgiving. It makes it a lot more fun for us to sing up here. So God bless you, and thank you for these last two numbers.
Come home, won't you, Bill Bailey? Come home, won't you, Bill Bailey? Come, Bill, please come.
shall be